But hello and welcome everybody. We have the global lab updates for October 10th, 2025. PA pulled a fast one on me and released this yesterday when I wasn't expecting it. Let's get right into it. We have the Enhanced UI renewal coming. This is pretty much the overhauled Enhancement UI. Here we can see an example of it. Let's try to open it up. Overall, it's a bit too large. Can we pull it down a little bit? Yeah, there we go. Like this. Here we can see the enhancement piece in the center. The natives band is going to be stretched out along the bottom for a bit more accessibility without as much page swapping. Then we have the actual items to enhance that you select from your inventory. Then you have your enhancement chance up here with the Valks enhancement increaser. We'll get into that in just a second. So overall, you can see the strengthenable equipment in your bag. Everything that can be enhanced will be visible. Native's belt, like I mentioned, and the conditions for displaying the confirmation window for entering enhancement probability values has been relaxed. So pretty much the warning for stacks for God-Eyed, Slumbering God Armor, Fallen God Armor, Labreska, Dawn's Gloves, and the Tor Shoes have been pretty much removed. This is pretty much a nice little benefit, meaning less pop-ups. By clicking the Increase Reinforcement Probability area, which is, as I mentioned, in the top right, you can then select to apply items that increase the chance. It will pop up in a sort of extra window here, which, let's try to scale this up again. So an extra window where you have the Valks and your enhancement increasers, and then also on the second window, they're going to be showing the Valks Cry. You can also select the item that will prevent the reinforcement drop. So if you have any different items, they will be selected on the top left. You can select between crons and hammers freely now, which is pretty nice, meaning you can do a cron tap, hammer tap, cron tap, hammer tap if you want to. At least that's what it seems like, which is a really nice little feature, being able to swap between those. Then you can also convert your extra applied enhancement probability still. So the extract button has been moved to the far right over here. You do still need the blacksmith secret handbook or book that matches the value to get it out, but that is where you would remove it. Caphras breakthrough, after you select an item that gets to be strengthened by Caphras items, it will immediately swap the window to this window where you then select your Caphras, and as you can see here, you select Caphras and it switches the UI. With this, there's also a reinforcement bag, which will be added, allowing you to store all the materials needed for reinforcement. This is actually quite interesting. So overall, items that can be placed in the bag will be stored in the bag as soon as they are required. So if you drop any blackstones, they will automatically go into this bag. The best part about this is the maximum number of slots is 192. That should cover most enhancement items. Then we also have the no weight limit, which is actually the biggest factor. So overall, we have the reinforcement probability increases that are in here, which is the Valk's Advice, Valk's Cry, Dark Hunger, and Tainted Hunger. The Valk's Advice has also been changed to a family item. And if you need to use items stored in the reinforcement bag as processing materials, you will need to move them to your normal bag. And once you've moved them, you can then process them and then move them back. The controls are the same as for the family inventory. So if you know how to use the family inventory, you should know how to be able to use this. Then when you store items that can be stored in the bag, in the regular bag, you cannot use function to enforcement. So that is one important note. If, for example, you move your enhancement stones to your inventory, they will not be showing up in the enhancement UI inventory. So the only items that are affected or considered are the ones in the reinforcement bag. The list for the reinforcement bag is actually quite expansive. So we have the Valk's Cries, as mentioned. We have the Black Crystal of Condensed Magic. We also have the general Blackstone, Shining Stone of the Sun, Blackstone of the Beginning. So the beginner Blackstones are also going to be in here, which is actually quite nice. It actually comes with a little note that these will be turned into family bound instead of character bound. We have the Essences of Dawn, Essence of Dawn, Blackstone of Dawn, Edana's Blackstone, Blackstones themselves, the upgraded Blackstones, Adventurer's Blackstones, Black Spirit Claws are in here, Cronstones, Honest Hammer, Jade's Hammer, the other hammers as well, the Origin of Dark Hungers, Caphras, that is actually quite nice, making sure, but it will make the tracking of Caphras a bit more difficult. Black Crystals, permeated with time, Magic Stable Powers, so those boss stones that we keep getting, Purified Magic. The time-filled blackstones also, which will make it a bit easier to enhance. I am kind of curious if these will now be removed on season as well. There has not been a note from what I saw. We'll keep looking, but I don't think so. Same thing for the Blackstone of Frozen Wave and Boiling Waves. The Dreamy Balance Crystals. So as you can see, it is extremely detailed. Almost everything is in here. We also have the Primal Crystal of Longing, Distorted Crystal, the Silent Primordial Decision, so those stones are also going in here. And then finally some Asula items, which are probably out of date, and nobody really has them anymore. They've also simplified items to increase the chance of success and strengthening, so the Magic Parchment changes for the Valk's Advice have been changed as well. The Passion Secret Book has been removed, and you get a Valk's Advice. The recipes for grinding Dalashane's gem polish and green quartz to obtain a plus 40 will no longer be available. Goblin Amulet will also just give you straight up Valk's Advice. And the Magical Parchment 130 that you would get from the different dungeon knowledge quests will now just give you a straight up 130 Valk's scroll, which is also pretty nice. Other improvements related to reinforcement. So the input window has been modified to automatically activate when the reinforcement probability value is displayed. Valk's Advice items have also been changed to be instantly usable, and you can now check the Valk's Advice you have by clicking Go to increase reinforcement probability button. Small class change on Tamer. On the Tamer main weapon, Scratch, when launching a skill forward in the air, the control key has been unified to the right click. However, if you hold down W right click after the Moonlight Strike skill, it will be linked to the Con Earth Lightning skill, and you must release the W key to activate the aerial Scratch. Otherwise, tiny class modification and changes. So apparently there was an issue where abnormal status effects were taken. This has been fixed. On Ninja, they fixed an issue where the ninjutsu stealth would not move forward when using the stealth skill while the effect of Oni Shadow was in effect. On Lawn, the Blood Forest technique, the movement of the chain wheel technique has been changed to be more natural. Again, on Lawn, the issue with the chain wheel skill was activated instead of piercing heart when left-clicking and right-clicking at the same time after using Blood Martial Arts has been fixed. If you input both left and right clicks after using the Blood Forest, the Piercing Heart technique will be activated, and the Chain Wheel technique will be activated if you input only the right click. More on Lawn, the issue with the Earth Wound skill would not activate after the second hit when linked with Chain Wheel has been fixed. Also on Lawn, the issue with the skill specialization effect was not applied when the skill hit was successful. When registering a skill specialization for Chain Wheel has been fixed, so overall lots of Chain Wheel fixes. On Nova, there was an issue of the following effects not actually being applied or written in the description for Kratom's Binding. The plus 30 ignore resistance for 2 seconds. This has been fixed. Wusa, they fixed an issue where the monster invincibility effect applied when the Yangbang step skill was on cooldown was applied for a shorter time than the original invincibility. And on Wukong, the issue where the miss indicator would intermittently appear when using the burning needle technique in the Jeshion Dasong state has also been fixed. I believe that's Buddha state. Then we have the thing that a few people are waiting for, the trial character changes. The level required when creating acquired when creating a trial character has been changed from 60 to 62. When the official servers are updated, all your currently created trial characters will also be adjusted. And this change will allow you to acquire the level 62 passive skill Strong Strength even with a trial character. Also, an item that increases the training ability to maximum when creating a trial character has also been added. And finally, we have the Arsha's Equipment 3, which is the big upgrade to the 810 gear score, I believe. So you will only be able to obtain this if you have a main character or regular character with an AP of 365 and a DP of 425. Once you have this, you can complete the quest Trial Character Evidence of Stronger Power, and after you've completed this, you can then purchase the Archer Box 3 from the free Arena NPC has. This is a little bit of a odd addition, however, at the same time, it does make a little bit of sense. 810 gear score is quite hefty, and I believe they want to make sure that you have a character that is in that range before you trial it, so you don't get unexpected expectations from the performance of a class. It is a little bit off, but at the same time, I do kind of agree. Also, the following effects have been changed to not apply to the trial characters. This is pet buff increases, modification preset effects. Also, the Morning Blessings, which is the Sun and Moon buff, and the Millennial Ginseng buff. So this is, as far as I know, crystal effects. Small content update, the Throne of Power feature has been added. This is mostly just for the Edana's Throne owners. If they have the button by the Edana Throne UI and they can click it, they can then view the area where your privileges are activated. This is kind of cool. I guess it's a camera view of their realm. It's a very small thing. I think maybe the PA is expecting people to use it a little bit, but overall, it's quite nice. Actually, no, there we go. We see the sort of area of influence. Then the big thing for the upcoming Blue Battlefield and for us sailors, the Quick Sailor stat adjustment. So with the Quick Sailors, they found out if you would stack them on a boat, their range would go outside of render distance. They've pretty much adjusted this to widen the horizontal firing arc, giving you more varied options. Effectively, what this means is the Swift Sailors is losing a good chunk of their force stat, which is their base ability 3% going down to 2. And also the increases are massively reduced, pretty much allowing it to go at the most from 3.5 to 5% instead of the current 5.9 to 9. However, to adjust this, the field of view stat, which is the left-right angle of cannon fires, will be changed from 0.2 to 6%. So this might actually mean that our field of view sailors, sure, they might be more specialized, but I do think this sailor might become more viable simply due to the fact that it gets both. So in this case, we can see on the update on October 15th, the field of view stat will just be increased by 5.8 across the board, and force will be calculated down according to the chart above. For example, a Swift Sailor at level 5 with a field of vision of 0.6 will go to 6.4, and a strength of 4.7 will go to 2.8. Do take a look at your sailors pre-Blue Battlefield. Maybe even start swapping over to quicks instead of the, I believe it was the treasure seeking. It might become more viable and might be a valid option. Then we have item changes. The Blackstone items at the start have been changed from character bound to family bound, so that is the beginner Blackstones. The following reward items that could only be obtained from the Black Spirit Adventure have been changed. So before the random item acquisition slot, and the Valk's Device 20 to 30 has also been changed. Black Spirit's Adventure, the reward for Valk's Device plus 25 on event dice rolls has been changed to Valk's Device plus 30 as well. So overall, we have a bit more of an increase on the Black Spirit Adventure. World bosses is a small little change. So the bosses that would appear usually at 11:45 in some areas has been changed to 11:30, so 15 minutes earlier. I don't think we have one in EU that is really affected by this, since we always have the 15 past 10. However, there is also another change that will affect all of us. The time it takes for all the world bosses to self-destruct or self-kill has been reduced from 30 minutes to 15 minutes. So as the time it takes for a leader to disappear on their own has been shortened, the time it takes for it to go berserk has also been adjusted. So for Zarka, and obviously its nightmare version, same for Nuver, Kuranda, Kutum, Garmoth, and Offentet. Mostly the first explosion will happen after 15 minutes and the second one after 25. This has now been changed to 10 and 12 because after 15 it will despawn. Also, Vel has had its health reduced by another 10%. This should also speed up Vel significantly again, so don't slack on your swap. Then we have some tiny changes. Orbita Castle, the scene where the Orbita's Tomb of Light accepts the power of light, has been changed from 4 to 1 second. Tenebrum Castle, the Manticore's gimmick of killing people, nearby prophets, has been improved so it no longer continues to execute when there are no more prophets. Tenebrum Castle as well, when you enter the Money Secret Room, the stone slab-shaped Karshan's altar will now be generated a little more slowly. Zephyros Castle, the distance at which Zephyros Shadow Knight searches for neighborhood adventures has been increased by 250%. The range at which Beelzebub returns to its original position has been increased by 25%. And they fixed an issue where damage would not be applied when attacked by guards patrolling at night if your alignment was below minus 500 karma. So do watch out if you're a red player, this will be affecting you. Quest and Knowledge, when completing the quest special growth, beginning of a prestigious school as a seasonal character, the main quest below will now be displayed in the quest main category. So we have the Medaya Black Energy only threatens Medaya, Medaya Branch 1 and Quarter 2, and the Reappearance of Darkness. In the knowledge window as well, hints about unacquired knowledge from Edania related NPCs has been changed to be more detailed. An effect has been added that when terrain knowledge that can be obtained in the Ulukita region is not acquired. They also added dialogue from the Black Spirit, which has been added to the progress of the main Edania quest. Nymphomare, they fixed an issue where some dialogue was not displayed during the main quest. And on the quest repeated quests, the conditions have been changed that requests accepted and completed in the Edana Storm qualification category do not disappear. Background NPCs, effects, and cutscenes. Valentine's disciple, aka Ludwig, has come to Hakinja Temple as well, next to Dalashane, outside. An invisible wall has been added to prevent falling under the bridge during the quest Etherion rumors surrounding Edania, and they fixed the auto movement not being blocked by certain structures near Quan's cave. Other UI fixes, category descriptions have been added to the detailed hunting ground information or monster hunting ground information. Now if you hover over the symbols, it will actually tell you what it is. Surprised that wasn't the case initially. And finally, we got some general fixes and changes. They had some outfit mishaps. So floating stone near Dregan has been removed. They fixed an issue where Mount would walk and run repeatedly when using automatic navigation in a desert after riding the Dream Dine or Fantasy Dine. The issue with the falling motion was applied abnormally when hit by a falling effect while riding a mount has been fixed. The issue with the set effect would appear to be applied twice when equipping a Prion. Logging in with a different character and then logging in with a character with a Prion has been fixed. Also an issue with the effect of functional costumes. Costume sets of a shy character who logged in through a character change was displayed as twice. Khan's Heart, there was an issue with the color and effect used in the life item. They also adjusted some guide text and cutscenes that can be played in Edania being out of alignment. The issue with the Goblin Furniture Shop in Goblin Forest was displayed as a manner tab in the contribution usage has been fixed. When you achieve first place in a field ranking, the ranking icons displayed for the fields of navigation, trading, and leveling has been modified to be displayed in the correct order. Then we also have the issue with the name displayed at the top of the character would appear awkward when an adventure without a guild joined Arsha Spear and then exited Arsha Spear has been fixed. An issue with a new family name was not displayed as beginning adventure. They fixed an issue with the escape function near Kafra's cave ruins would no longer move you inside Kafra's cave. View family characters. They fixed an issue where characters would be moved to an abnormal location when the character's destination was Cheongsam Sewon. I believe that's in London Morning Light. The issue with the icon of the removed mount was not displayed properly and the character list has been fixed. Also an issue where item and fairy resurrection checkboxes were not displayed when a character died before the start of a base battle has been fixed, so Node Wars. An issue where a single guild or alliance applied for and won a base battle, the record of that base battle was recorded as the previous record has been fixed. Also an issue where a draw result notification would be displayed even if there was a winning team in Arsha's window has been fixed. Also an issue with Dalwog's dialogue displayed after completing the Wandering Merchant quest, so more quest. Issue where the camera was placed awkward during the Ataraxian Decades letter. Also some dialogue issues at Nymphomare Origins of the Curse. Issue where subtitles were not displayed during cutscenes that appeared during the Edania the One Who Waits. Goblin Forest, the Will-O-Wisp, or Dokubi Forest, the Will-O-the-Wisp, summoned from the Goblin Stone Pagoda have been changed to resummon when the Stone Pagoda loses its attack, target, and resets. Nymphomare, there's an issue with the Condensed Purification Aura not appearing intermittently after defeating the Coral Naga Vanguard. They also fixed an issue where the effect would point at Tenebraum in an awkward direction rather than the altar when striking quickly when Karshan appears, so Karshan fight. The Manticore's gimmick of killing nearby prophets has been improved. Actually, wait, that was already up top. They did that twice. Orbita, they also fixed an issue with a message. Orbita's sacred light begins to turn into an ominous dark light was not displayed. And they fixed an issue where the Tomb of Faith would appear to be undestroyed when moving away from it. And then finally, one pad mode fix. The issue with the key guide at the bottom would change to the normal key guide for mounts other than horses has been fixed. Overall, in the recap, general small fixes and changes. The UI change, I was surprised this wasn't implemented immediately, but hey, now it's here. Ludwig going to Kinja Temple, great. Now we just need Liana and then more golden in Edania. Quest of Knowledge, nice little fixes, nothing too great. The boss adjustments, very, very surprising, but at the same time welcomed. It does make it a little bit easier to quickly pop to a boss and defeat it and go back. Then overall, the Advice of Alex changes and the Sailor changes. I will definitely be looking into the quick sailors for sure. Otherwise, the Edana UI, okay, great for the Edana. Trial character, I do understand it. It feels a little bit weird, but at the same time, like I said, I do get it. They don't want people to immediately see a class at its absolute maximum potential and possibly, well, not understand why they're being killed. And then finally, the general changes for the Enhancement UI. I am really looking forward to the reinforcement bag. That is, to be honest, the biggest thing. It will make the tracking of Caphras and such a bit more difficult, but I do think we can get used to that. Otherwise, the Enhancement UI looks clean. I am looking forward to it. The one thing that's worrying me a little bit, the fact that I don't see a little black spirit behind it. That is the only thing I'm worrying, but otherwise we will see the details when it comes out. Thank you very much.